Good morning, friends. Today we are going to discuss the subject that is S4 or TYBA term first. Now, what is the title of the subject? The title of the subject is Introduction to Literary Criticism. As we all know that we have 80-20 pattern. So this paper will be of 80-20 pattern. So 80 marks exam will be for annual and 20 marks exam will be for first term, that is term and exam. Now let us discuss what is the syllabus of the paper. As the title shows, that Introduction to Literary Criticism, first of all, in the very first unit, we have to understand the meaning of literary criticism. So, for the sake of understanding the meaning of literary criticism, we have to go through definition, origin, principles, different types, as well as functions of literary criticism. So, this unit is related to the meaning, types and functions of literary criticism. The second unit is related to the history of literary criticism. So the short survey of literary criticism, critical approaches, movements are included in this unit. So the first point of this survey is classical criticism. Plato, Aristotle, Longinus are the well-known critiques of classical criticism. So Plato's charges against poetry, Aristotle's theory of imitation, Longinus' source of the sublime are the topics prescribed for classical criticism. In the same unit, we are going to deal with neoclassical criticism. So this neoclassical criticism is followed by classical criticism, and there are different critiques, renowned critics in this age also. Selected 4 critics are prescribed for your syllabus, that is Pierre Corneille's reinterpretation of 3 unities, John Dryden's interpretation of classical ideas, Dr. Samuel Johnson's justification of Shakespeare's intermingling of tragedy and comedy, and Alexander Pope's views on wit and nature. I hope that these topics, these names, you must have heard in your S2 paper, that is Understanding Poetry. Again, the third period of criticism, that is romanticism, we are going to study, and in this we are going to focus on only 2 critics, that is William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge. So what we are going to study in William Wordsworth's criticism is definition of poetry, and S.T. Coleridge's concept of fancy and imagination. Again, we have to follow the next criticism, the next age of criticism, that is Victorian criticism, where we are going to focus on Matthew Arnold's view about the function of criticism, as well as Walter Pater's concept of art for art's sake. So this short survey is expected to be introductory in nature. We are not going to deal with the detailed study, but our attempt will be to focus on these topics at the introductory level, and it should be strictly limited to the study of a salient feature of the above mentioned approaches, critiques and their works. So though the critiques are well known, though their writing is well known, we are just going to focus on at the introductory level. The third unit is again about the critical approaches and movements. Here we are going to focus on modernism, and in modernism we are going to focus on the 3 topics is T.S. Eliot's concept of tradition, I. Richard's four kinds of meaning, and F.R. Lewis's concept of completeness of response. So these three critiques are prescribed for modernism. New criticism is also one of the important section of this unit where there are three critiques explained and prescribed. For example, J.C. Ransom's concept of texture, Alan Tate's concept of tension, and Cleon Brooks' notion of paradox as the structure of poetry. So we are going to deal with these three critiques in unit number 3. Unit 4 is related to literary and critical terms. Actually, these terms you must have heard, you must have studied at SYBA level. So most of you have understood, familiar with these terms. The terms are catharsis, plot, the sublime, three unities, classic, decorum, and nature, diction, fancy and imagination, author, canon, style, subjective and objective. Again, I would like to focus that these critical terms are also expected to be introductory in nature. So the concept has to be understood, their examples has to be explained and understood by the student. These are expected in this unit also. As we have dealing with the syllabus, now let us focus on the question paper pattern. So as we all know that the term examination is of 60 marks and that 60 marks are converted into 20. So the question paper for the S4 paper will be of 60 marks and the 60 marks will be divided into 5 questions. So each question carries 12 marks. So the first question is related to the first unit, that is principles, types and functions of criticism. You have to solve 2 questions out of 3 and each question will carry 6 marks. So in all the question will be of 12 marks. Question number 2 is related to classicism, neoclassicism and romanticism. So these classical criticism, neoclassical criticism, romantic criticism and the critiques will be discussed in this question. Again 2 questions you have to solve out of 3. So each question will carry 6 marks and the question will be of 12 marks together. Question 3 is related to Victorian criticism and modernism and there will be again 2 questions out of 3. You have to solve 2 questions, each will carry 6 marks. So the question will be of 12 marks. The fourth question will be of unit 3, that is formalism and new criticism. Again you have to solve 2 questions out of 3. Each will carry 6 marks and the question will be of 12 marks. The fifth question is about the fourth section, that is questions on literary and critical terms. As we have discussed above, we are going to deal with these literary terms. We have to explain the terms, we have to give some examples related to these terms and we have to solve 4 literary terms, explain 4 literary terms out of 6. So here each literary term or critical term will carry 3 marks and in all this question will be of 12 marks and all the 5 questions are obligatory, so you have to deal with all these topics together. I hope this paper you will really enjoy and this will also help you to understand literature in a better way